Hola, clase. So today we are going to be talking about some reflexive verbs. So we have already seen this just briefly, but when we did our Monsters Inc. video, we had that homework assignment that said, "My eyes hurt because I hurt them reading," or "My legs hurt because I hurt them in a basketball game." So that was a reflexive verb that we used, that lastimarse, but we have a ton of reflexive verbs in this chapter, so we got to learn how to use them. So here we go. We're just going to jump right into it. You have these guided notes also attached to this, so you can be filling out notes as you go through this. So reflexive verbs. Reflexive verbs describe actions done to or for oneself. So they are like the verb, the action is like reflecting off of a mirror and coming back to you. Okay, so levantarse is to get oneself up. Lavarse is to wash oneself. Bañarse is to bathe oneself. Afeitarse is to shave oneself. Maquillarse is to put makeup on oneself. Okay, that double L makes a Y sound. Don't forget that. Maquillarse. Um, each reflexive verb has two parts, so I highlighted it in different colors so you could see this clearly. Levantar is the verb, which tells us the meaning to get up, and se tells us that it's reflexive, that you're doing that to yourself. Lavar is the verb to wash, and that se means you're going to wash yourself. Bañar is to bathe, bañarse is to bathe oneself, and so on and so forth, okay? Reflexive verbs change in both parts when you conjugate them. So look at the conjugation of this verb levantarse, and I highlighted both changes. So for yo, you say me levanto, I get myself up. Tú is te levantas, you get yourself up. Él se levanta, he gets himself up. Or ella, she gets herself up. Nosotros is we nos levantamos, we get ourselves up. Vosotros, skip. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes, se levantan is either they get themselves up or y'all get yourselves up. So reflexive verbs have those two changes when you conjugate them. The ending of the verb changes, just like always, to match the subject. If you look at the chart back there, we have the o, as, a, amos, ais, an, like we normally do for our AR verbs, because levantarse right here is an AR verb. Okay, then the second part is the new part, and that's the reflexive pronoun also changes to match the subject. So that reflexive part, that se, changes in each one of these. We have me, te, se, nos, os, and se again. So here's some examples of a whole sentence with these verbs. Yo me levanto a las 6 de la mañana. I get myself up at 6 a.m. Mara se levanta a las 6 de la mañana. Mara gets herself up at 7 a.m. So we see the two changes. We have the O that matches with yo, and we have the me. Then for Mara, we have the A because it's ella, it's the ella form, and then we have the se that goes with that. So here is a chart of your reflexive pronouns. Me, te, se, nos, os, se. Notice that for él, ella, usted, and ellos, ellos, ustedes, we use se for both of those, okay? So this is how you would conjugate something. You have levantarse here, right? We have to make two changes. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of separate that into just our verb and then the reflexive part. So our verb is an AR verb, levantar. So we use our AR verb chart ending. This se, we use the reflexive pronoun ending, okay? Then we have poner over here. And you'll see how we separate this into two parts, the two parts of it. We have the verb, poner, means to put, and or to place. And so we have our ER endings, o, es, a, amos, es, en. And then we have that se, that reflexive pronoun right here. Me, te, se, nos, os, se. So we use this with ponerse la ropa is to put clothes on yourself. Dormirse, we're again going to separate that into dormir and se. So our dormir is an IR verb. So we have our IR verb ending. Sorry, I'm going to stop trying to make that thing pop up. We have o, ace, a, emos, ace, en. And then, of course, we have our reflexive ending or reflexive pronoun, me, te, se, nos, os, se. Okay, so seeing how we break it down into its two parts, it's verb, and we conjugate that like normal, and then we have that new reflexive pronoun part. So we are going to skip this slide and I'll come back to it in just a minute. I did these a little out of order. Sorry. Placement. Let's talk about placement first before we get into our practice. So, placement. Our reflexive pronouns get placed in the same spots as our direct and indirect object pronouns. As you notice from my sentences, I did not leave those pronouns at the end of our verb. They got moved. So, our two locations is one before the conjugated verb. For example, hoy me levanto a las 6 de la mañana. So I took that verb levantar, I added the O ending for yo, and I put the me before it because this verb is conjugated, okay? Hoy me levanto a las 6 de la mañana. Or it could be attached to the infinitive. So if I say mañana voy a levantarme a las 7 de la mañana, because 6 in the morning is way too early, then I could put the me at the end. So here I say tomorrow I am going. This voy is our conjugated verb, going to levantar, get up. This ends in AR, so we could put the me at the end too. As long as our verb is unconjugated, it still ends in AR, ER, or IR, I could put the me at the end, okay? But either way, you see that the reflexive pronoun is changed to match the subject. Since I am doing the getting up, I'm getting myself up at 6, or I'm getting myself up at 7, I changed that say, that reflexive part, to may, even if I put it before or I leave it attached to the end. Okay, so now let's go back to our practice, okay? I want you guys to try this on your notes first. I have these for you, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want you to just try and fill it in on your own and then go back and check your answers, okay? So what you should do now is hit pause on this presentation because I'm going to start clicking through the answers in a minute. I want you to try this first, okay? So hit pause and try this on your own. Ready? Pause. Okay, that was a test. If you haven't paused, please pause before you just skip ahead and cheat off of my answers. Okay, so hit pause. Now, here's the answers for after we tried this on our own, right? I hope that what we did was we broke these into two separate parts, our verb and then our pronoun, our reflexive pronoun, conjugate our AR verbs. I think these are all AR verbs. Yep, all of these are ARs. And then we choose the right reflexive that goes before it on this little tiny line. I tried to give you a big old clue by giving these little lines for the first word, bigger line for the second one. So the answer to the first one, mi padre se afeita todas las mañanas. Okay, so my dad shaves every morning. Be careful with this verb. I have trouble remembering this one too, that it is an E and then I and not I and then E. Okay, so that's just something you're going to have to remember, especially with our Google Forms, with our spelling stuff, okay? Mis hermanas would become se bañan. Mis hermanas se bañan, okay? Yo nunca me maquillo para la escuela. I never put on makeup for school. Don't forget that the double L makes a Y sound, okay? Ustedes siempre se peinan el pelo durante la clase. Y'all always brush your hair during class. And then we have número 5. Te secas tú el pelo con una toalla o un secador de pelo. Okay, so this is a question. Our subject comes after our verb and our questions right here. And this question is, do you dry your hair? So do you dry your own hair with a towel or a blow dryer? Okay, all right. So make sure you fill in the guided notes and upload a picture of that to the homework assignment on Classroom. All right, I want to see that you have filled this in. You've gone through these notes with me. So that will be a grade. And then you will also get a grade on your homework form that goes with this. If y'all are confused, please give me a call and we'll try the homework together. If you don't have my number, shoot me an email with your number and I will give you a call and I will help you work through that form. Okay? So, all right, thanks. Adios, guys.